Anyway, I want to show you. I've got a rambutan tree. And this rambutan has not been very good for us here. So this monstrosity of a structure is my brother and his wife's house. So this is the rambutan tree. So she, as I said, she's a bit of a green thumb. So she has sorted this issue, I believe. Look at these. We've never ever had a rambutan tree that bared well over the years. You know, we just always go and pick them at the market. So the ocean is right there. It's low tide. When it's high tide, it is literally lapping at the edge of the ground. So when we'd get storms, like heavy downpours, oh, I need to show you the trunk from the other side. I believe it's just getting wet. Wet feet. Oh, they've blocked it off. I can't even show you the trunk. Okay, there you go. So my sister-in-law has got all this ground and leveled it up a couple feet because there used to be pools of water at the base. Anyway, that seems to have done the trick because we now have literally hundreds and hundreds of rambutan. So we've had, this is Shadow. Shadow! No fighting, you two. They're brothers. They're young. They're not even 2 years old and they're giants. I think I'm told purebred German Shepherds. He's sniffing my feet, but look at him. He's just complete black. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, so we'd have, what is this tree? Oh, maybe 10, 12 years old. And it's been bearing for the last 5 years, I'd say. And very, very sparingly. You know, we'd have a few, maybe a couple dozen a year. But now we've got hundreds and hundreds of them. They're all, I don't know if you can see this. I also bought a new phone, a Pixel 7 Pro, which I'm filming on, so I'm just trying to get used to it all. Can you see them there? They're just bunches all the way up. So there's literally going to be thousands of them this time, which is very exciting. Hello, Jasper. This is a lime tree. These are massive ones, actually. They're delicious. I want to say they're like a Tahitian lime, which is what they're called in Australia, but just a giant version. Yeah. This one's also not happy. Jasper, you'd like to be on film? Breadfruit. Huge bloody tree. This one, sadly, not many people eat. Only when my mum visits the country they eat it. So you can see, this is also the second, I believe this is the second or third tree we've planted. Because they just grow so fast here and get too big. So the gardeners just hack them down and then replant again. These are some more orchids we've got. This is our tennis court. That's where I learned to hit some balls. I'll show you like jackfruit tree. Oh, we've got pomegranate. See the pomegranate here. It just never looks. It never looks right, and I believe it's just too much humidity. These dogs are just sort of sussing out who's the dominant dog, so it's a bit of an issue here. Hey, break it up. Yeah, so this pomegranate, see, they just look, it does bear, it does carry a lot of fruit. I mean, maybe not this one, but there's a couple other ones around. But yeah, in Australia, over winter, some of them, the species I have, will lose their leaves and then they come back and they're just massive, you know. And here it always just looks scraggly and unhappy. Again, I believe it's just the humidity. This is Ibica, that I believe they call this edible spinach in English. I think some of the American gardening shows I watch. So you have the red stem, and you have the long thin leaves, like these spindly thin leaves. You have you got the crinkle leaf. Yeah, then there's this triangle shaped one, and then there's a round leaf one. Anyway, this is the one in this country because people call this God's garden, Papua New Guinea. You just snap, you pick all the leaves, eat them. The stem, you just shove it in, and you're picking in a couple months' time again. There's no fertilizer used here, no chemicals, no pesticides. This is just, everything here is just so healthy. The soil is just so full of nutrients. So this is my sister-in-law's little garden. What's she growing here? Chinese cabbages. Oh, here's another pomegranate. Oh, here is the jackfruit. The jackfruit. So I planted this the same time as I planted the coconuts. Yes, that same year. And Christmas 2018. And there are jackfruits finally growing all over this thing. The people here don't really know how to eat it. So a lot of, even though we border, Papua New Guinea borders Indonesia, there's a big problem with the indigenous people here, the locals, is their diets are not the greatest. And even though we border Indonesia, and Indonesia, as you know, you all know, is one of the most diverse fruits and vegetables, here in Papua New Guinea, you'd go to villages and, I mean, the vegetables that they would consume, I can, you know, name them all on one hand. The meat, you know, a little bit of tinned meat, a little bit of tinned fish, or if they live near the ocean, they're fishing in the ocean. And then the meat, you know, they've got chicken and pigs. But they don't grow jackfruit, they don't grow durians, they don't grow mangosteens, you know, everyone grows coconuts and guavas. Guava is the fruit and mango, actually, that's the three that everyone in New Guinea has. But there's so much diversity that people just don't take advantage of. So in other provinces around PNG, they're called provinces here, not states, they had a lot more of an Asian community over the years developing the nation. A lot of Filipinos, Chinese, and they brought a lot of fruit over and started sharing with the locals. So in different towns, they'll have a lot more diversity, but here in Kimbe, we don't really have much, literally much at all. I planted this jackfruit. I got it off a Filipino lady and her husband, and the gardener said, "What is this?" And I said, "It's a jackfruit." And I said, and the only way I could explain to them it was like a breadfruit, which is that one, kapiak they call it. And I said, but a sweet one. And they said, "Oh yeah, we know," but they don't know. They just want to try and be polite. What was I gonna see here? Look at this elephant here. Wow, that is big. Beautiful. This mango is we call this the carrot mango or the banana mango. So it's a long mango, and it's not really common here in Kimbe when I was growing up. So people used to call it the Rabaul mango, which is the town next over, the next province. And honestly, one of the best tasting mangoes in the entire world. I've tried dozens of variety of mangoes, so I'm gonna have to try and find this one, because gardener told me, I was like, how is this fruiting yet? And he was like, no, it's not fruiting. I was like, okay, that's very, very strange, because that should have been fruiting a couple of years ago. The mangoes don't take that long to fruit here, so you know, I can see some new shoots on it. but he said no flowers, which is very, very strange. Also, we have an issue here with these long mangoes. It's people don't really graft trees here, so it's not very common, but I have planted over our whole childhood, because we've had different varieties of mangoes. Apple mangoes is our main favorite. We've always tried to grow this carrot mango and it's never taken. They always end up reverting back to some different type of round mango, some bush mango that we don't even know. So, you know, there's nobody here grafting these mangoes. People have them out at the village and they're just, you know, they're growing all over the place, dotted around. So anyway, I'll hopefully find some at the market because I'm told they're in season. Yeah, we got pawpaws, 5-corner, what do they call this? Carambola. Carambola. This is also a tree from my childhood. This is the second version, third version. Yeah, you know, these dogs. And I want to show you these. These are, we call this the Ribena plant. It's a weed, right? It grows everywhere. I've got this growing in my backyard. So here, they eat it. It's like a, they call it kumu, which is like a greens. So they just, see like that? They'll just break the tips off of these and then cook them. This is very, what do they call this? Alpa? I'll have to ask my sister-in-law. Anyway, so normally the berries are a lot smaller and you can eat them. They are a little sweet, but you know, not the greatest flavor. Mind the construction noise of building a house right there. So this is an orange tree. This is the orange from it. Just cut it open. They stay green. They get a little bit of yellow on them. I don't know. It's definitely not like a navel orange that someone has brought up here. So this, they call it bush orange because it's not common at all. Or they call this here Bali orange. So Bali is an island off about 8 hours by boat that way, straight out to the ocean. There's a couple small islands there, one's called Bali Bitu, and this is common there, so they bring them into town and they call them Bali oranges. And the flavor is like an Australian orange, just less sweet, less sharp, less tangy, so it's just like a mild orange. Ooh, there's some thunder. Another Arvo storm coming in. We're approaching the wet season here. Wet season is over Christmas. So, yeah, again, can't tell you the varieties because nobody knows them up here. Yeah, it's not really prolific. It only has, I don't know, a couple dozen or so compared to like the mandarin tree. That's the mandarin tree there, so that will have hundreds of fruit on it. There's a bit. I think they're planted around the same time actually. I'll show you the spikes on this orange and then we'll go over to the mandarin if the dogs aren't gonna bark too much. These. Get in focus here. They're just lethal. And they're so, like, they really are very, very hard to break. So that's just where I came from. Have a better look at these coconut trees here. I think it's a curry bush. Just all different flowers and things around. Yeah, so these is a pomelo my dad got. I believe this was a wedding present 40 something years ago. Similar to the coconut trees. Don't know if you've ever seen a pomelo that's close to 50 years old. And this just bears non-stop. They're a little small this season because they haven't been doing any pruning. Oh, there's one there. See, what is that eating it up? I don't even know. It's not really common to be eaten up. Look how huge that is, that trunk. Yeah, so these are close to 50 years old. What else has she got? I think this is that some sort of a custard apple. I think it's, what did my mom call it? Bollock's heart, I think that's what she calls it. I think it's the red one, and it's the shape of a heart. I'm losing my terminology here. I'm forgetting all the species names. Okay, I think this video is long enough. I'll try and get my sister-in-law to walk around with me, give me the names of all these other little plants and things. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Till the next one. Ciao. Say bye, Jasper.